Good evening, this is Dean Harper, and you're listening to Outpost Radio. If you can still hear my voice, that means our analog backup line is holding steady in the dark.
Roughly 90 minutes ago, the world lost its connection. Completely, entirely. The global internet blackout is not regional, not partial, not technical. It's total. Every data stream dropped at once. Servers offline. Satellites unresponsive. Banks, hospitals, even government emergency channels all went silent within minutes. Some are calling it sabotage, others a system crash, but truthfully, no one knows. You might have noticed it when your messages stopped sending, when websites froze, when even your maps refused to load. Then came the silence. We've switched to old transmitters, pre-digital, vacuum tube tech, and for now, they work. If you're listening to me right now, that means humanity isn't entirely cut off. You are proof that analog breathes where the digital fails. Ivy, what are you seeing from your side of the city?
Dean, it's haunting out here. The skyline looks hollow, black windows, no screens, no glow. It's as if someone drained the electricity out of the air. You can hear the world again, really hear it. Cars have stopped in the streets. People are standing outside, staring at their blank phones like they're waiting for something to wake up. There's panic, yes, but also a kind of stunned quiet. I walked past a cafe earlier. Everyone sitting together, candles on tables, talking. Talking, Dean. Some said it feels like stepping into another century. Others think it's an attack or a test. No one's sure. The last verified transmission we received before the blackout came from an undersea cable operator in Norway. They mentioned simultaneous failures across every continent, then their feed cut mid-sentence. Whatever caused this, it's coordinated and deliberate. The world didn't just crash, it was unplugged.
That's exactly what I'm seeing in the data, Ivy. Power grids are stable, meaning this isn't a total infrastructure failure. Electricity still runs. Water pumps work. But every digital network is gone. No satellites returning pings, no DNS resolution anywhere on the planet. Every major node timed out at the same second. I'm getting Morse bursts from amateur radio operators trying to rebuild comms. They're calling it 0 hour. And yet, the strangest thing, some private analog military channels remain open, as if whoever did this knew exactly what to spare. I don't want to feed conspiracies, but the precision here is beyond accident. To everyone listening, I'll say this. Keep calm. Write things down. Paper, not screens. If you have a local battery radio tuned to 104.7 FM, we'll stay on air until our generators quit. This is not the end of the world. It's the end of one system, and the beginning of another. Ivy, are you seeing any signs of response from authorities?
None, Dean. Not a word from any verified government source. Local police are visible but quiet. No coordinated response, no emergency alerts. Even television has gone black, only dead air on every channel. The strangest part is how fast people adapted. I saw a group in the park setting up a whiteboard, people writing down messages for loved ones they can't reach. Someone rigged a speaker and a mic to a car battery, reading names into the air, hoping someone nearby hears them. It's fragile, but it's beautiful too. The way people remember how to connect when the noise stops. I've been trying to reach colleagues in other cities using shortwave, but most of what comes through is static and fear. A man from Madrid repeated the same phrase over and over before the line went dead. The lights are on, but the world is offline. That's where we stand.
It's remarkable how quickly silence becomes the new language. Without notifications, updates, scrolling, you start to hear your own heartbeat. You start to think again. Maybe we built a civilization on noise, and now we're meeting the quiet we avoided. Still, the danger is real. Hospitals can't access medical records. Flights are grounded. Banks can't process transactions. If this blackout persists, society will have to learn to operate without the infrastructure it depended on for everything. But maybe, just maybe, that's an opportunity too. A forced reset, a reminder that systems are not survival. People are. Outpost Radio, was built for nights like this. We'll keep relaying local updates, emergency frequencies, and community contact points. For those with working transmitters, record what you hear. Share it with others by voice, not code. If digital dies, the human voice will be the new network. Ivy, any last word before we hand off to the overnight crew?
Just this, Dean. Maybe this blackout isn't only a failure. Maybe it's an invitation. Without the endless stream of distraction, people are meeting their own thoughts for the first time in years. I've seen neighbors who've never spoken sitting together on sidewalks, sharing stories. You can feel something ancient waking up in the silence. A slower rhythm, a kind of clarity. The internet gave us reach, but it also gave us distance. Now with it gone, maybe we'll find closeness again. To everyone listening, you are not alone. If you can hear this, others can too. Somewhere, someone else is sitting in the dark, radio beside them, listening to the same voice. That's the connection, real connection. Stay awake, stay kind, and keep tuning in.
You're listening to Outpost Radio, still broadcasting from an undisclosed location. One of the last voices in the static. Hold on to your radios. Hold on to each other. The net may be gone, but the world still hums beneath it. The lights will return one day. Maybe different, maybe better. Until then, this is Dean Harper, signing off for now. Stay safe, stay human, and remember, silence is not the end of communication. It's where it begins. We're 27 minutes into what's now being called the Great Blackout. No official confirmation from any government, but I've spoken to technicians, operators, and satellite engineers before their systems went offline. They all said the same thing. It's not just a glitch. This is structured. Every fiber line, every relay node, and every satellite uplink went dark within seconds of each other. That's coordination, not coincidence. The only things still running are small analog transmitters like ours. Isolated, low-tech, off the main grid. Ivy, I've never seen anything like this. The whole planet's voice, gone silent in under a minute. It's like someone pressed mute on civilization.
Dean, it's surreal. I keep looking at the empty feed monitors like they'll suddenly flicker back to life, but they don't. All the streaming networks are gone, every data center dark. Cities look quieter. No screens glowing through apartment windows, no notifications pinging in the night. It's almost beautiful, in a haunting way. Outpost radio has become a lifeline by accident. People are tuning in from old transistor radios, car stereos, anything that still works. I'm getting handwritten messages passed in through the studio door from runners who've been sent by local stations that can't broadcast anymore. Dean, one of them said entire coastal grids are down, not just the web. Lights, communication, all gone.
The silence outside is heavier now. You can almost feel the absence of connection, like the static in our brains has been cleared, and what's left is raw uncertainty. People are stepping out of their homes for the first time, realizing how dependent we've become on invisible threads. No feeds, no pings, no map apps. The world feels suddenly big again, doesn't it? You can't see where anyone else is. You can't know what's happening across the ocean, or even across the street, unless you walk there. Ivy, we may be witnessing the first true disconnect of the digital age, and it's revealing how small our voices sound without the web to echo them.
That's what I keep thinking too, Dean. The silence has its own kind of gravity. Without the constant scroll, people are actually started talking. You can hear conversations spilling out onto balconies, neighbors checking on each other. I just got word from the West End. A group of musicians are performing live outside with acoustic instruments because the power's out. It's like the city's heart remembered it can beat without electricity. But at the same time, something feels coordinated about this blackout. It's too neat, too synchronized. The timing was exact down to the second across continents. Someone, or something, did this deliberately.
If this was an attack, it's the most sophisticated one in history, and the quietest. No explosions, no warnings, no ransom. Just silence. Every nation was cut off at once. It's almost elegant in design. But maybe, Ivy, this isn't an act of war. Maybe it's a reset, a forced pause. We've spent decades building digital towers higher and higher, and tonight, someone pulled the plug. The question is whether the world will wake up better or collapse into chaos before dawn.
It's strange, Dean. Even though we're broadcasting in the middle of an event that's paralyzed the planet, I feel like we've never been more connected, not by data, but by fear, curiosity, and silence. If you're hearing this, wherever you are, know that you're not alone. Outpost Radio is still here. We'll keep speaking as long as these analog lines hold.
It's been nearly an hour since the first reports came in, and there's still no indication of recovery. The analog bands are flooded. Small stations, pirate frequencies, even amateur operators trying to reach each other through static. But digital silence remains absolute. Every attempt at rebooting core network systems has failed. I've just read a transcript from a retired engineer. He claims the root servers themselves might have been wiped clean, as if someone deleted the DNA of the internet. If that's true, this isn't just a temporary outage. It's extinction of a system. The digital infrastructure that held governments, banks, and communication together might be gone for good. Ivy, you and I are speaking on the edge of a world that just lost its reflection.
That's a haunting thought, Dean. A world that's still spinning, but without its reflection. I'm staring at the console, and I can almost feel the ghosts of notifications that used to pop up every few seconds. It's like our collective heartbeat has slowed. I keep thinking about people who live their entire lives online. Influencers, traders, coders, streamers. It's like an entire civilization within a civilization just blinked out of existence. But maybe this blackout is exposing something we forgot. We were never meant to live through glass. Right now, across the city, people are lighting candles, writing on paper, talking face to face. Maybe the digital collapse is giving us back something human, even if it feels apocalyptic.
Ivy, that's exactly it. The streets below our window are filled with lanterns, not LED screens. I can see families sitting outside their homes, passing around radios, listening to us. It feels ancient, like the 1940s again, when radio was the heartbeat of humanity. But there's still that lingering question, who did this? Because this blackout wasn't random. Some of the shortwave operators have reported unusual signals repeating at odd intervals, bursts of numbers consistent across regions, patterns that seem deliberate. It's not the usual noise. Maybe someone's using the blackout to communicate in a way we can't trace.
I've heard those too, Dean. Faint, rhythmic, like coded transmissions. Some operators say they're coordinates. Others think they're frequencies for safe zones. I can't verify any of it, but I know people are moving. Groups are walking toward hills, coasts, open land, anywhere far from city grids. They're calling it going dark from the dark. Whatever's happening, fear is spreading faster than information ever did. But I also sense resilience out there. Humanity doesn't surrender easily. We've always adapted, even when the systems we built betrayed us.
That resilience might be the only signal still alive. What we're seeing is the first real test of humanity without algorithms. Without trending topics, there's just truth, stripped bare. People will have to look each other in the eye again. Maybe it's terrifying because it's real. If you're out there listening, hold on to your radio, your candlelight, your neighbors. This is Dean Harper, reminding you, we are still connected, even in the dark.
And this is Ivy Gray echoing that. We'll keep this broadcast alive as long as the analog lines breathe. The world has gone silent, but silence is not the end. Sometimes it's the space where something new begins. Stay with us, listeners. You are not alone.
It's now approaching the 2-hour mark since the global network collapse began. The skies over the city are unnaturally still. No planes, no satellites blinking overhead. No hum of data through the atmosphere. Just a deep, strange quiet. I've spoken with several shortwave operators across old military bands, and they're describing something chilling. The blackout isn't only digital, it's electromagnetic. Even long-range radios are experiencing distortion at precise intervals, like a pulse traveling across the planet. That means someone or something is controlling the frequency itself. It's as though the airwaves have become sentient, deciding what passes and what doesn't. I don't want to leap into speculation, but there's intent here. The synchronized global drop, the continued interference, the absence of recovery protocols, these aren't symptoms of an outage. This is orchestration. Ivy, I'm starting to wonder if humanity just lost access to the very grid we thought we owned.
Dean, what you're describing aligns with what we're seeing from our emergency listeners. Handwritten notes are flooding in through couriers and community scouts. Small towns are reporting a complete shutdown of anything that relies on modern circuitry. Old engines work. Analog devices work. But anything designed to connect, phones, laptops, cars with navigation, are failing entirely. It's selective, almost intelligent. One message from a ham operator near the mountains said something that gave me chills. He saw a pattern of flickering lights along the ridge, flashing in intervals that matched the distortion wave. If that's real, it means the blackout isn't random. It's broadcasting something invisible, maybe even testing how far analog humanity can stretch before breaking. People are starting to talk about the reset signal, Dean. That phrase keeps showing up in every note we get.
The reset signal. It keeps echoing in my mind, Ivy, like a mantra or a warning. I can't shake the idea that it's more than a coincidence. For weeks, people have been reporting strange patterns, power surges, sudden blackouts, pulses through communication lines that shouldn't exist. And now, in this silence, I can't help but feel that all those small anomalies were building towards something larger, something deliberate. It's unnerving to think of it as intentional. But isn't that exactly what a signal does? Capture attention, guide behavior, force recognition. The digital world is gone tonight, yes, but the signal remains. And maybe that's its purpose. Maybe the real message isn't in the electricity, the screens, or the data streams we relied on. Maybe it's in us, forcing people to pause, look up, to see each other for the first time in years. If that's true, then this blackout isn't just destruction. It's a lesson, a challenge. We've been conditioned to chase constant connection, but maybe the reset signal exists to remind us what true connection feels like. Not through pixels, bandwidth, or algorithms, but through presence, attention, and care. It's unsettling, but I can't deny the possibility that humanity needs this moment exactly as it is to awaken.
I've been thinking about that too, Dean. This blackout, the way it forced us all offline simultaneously. It's almost impossible to believe it's random. Every system we depended on is still dead, yet somehow, through the silence, there's a pulse. Subtle, persistent. The reset signal might not be literal. Maybe it's experiential, a hidden rhythm the world is imposing, nudging humanity to recalibrate, and yet, I can't ignore the coordination of it all. The precision. The lights flickering in sync with reports of the pulses. The way communication fails at the exact moment people look for it most. Someone or something is shaping this chaos, and the consequences could be monumental. But here's the strange part. In the absence of digital noise, the energy in the air is alive. You can feel the city breathing differently. People are noticing each other again, talking, helping, sharing. Maybe the reset signal is not just a message of caution or control. Maybe it's a hidden invitation, a chance to reclaim connection, rediscover empathy, and listen, really listen, to what the world has been trying to say beneath the endless hum of our devices.
Exactly, Ivy. I've been walking through the streets and it's transformative. Even in darkness, people are forming networks, not digital, not virtual, but real, tactile, human networks. Neighbors helping neighbors, children guiding elders, strangers exchanging resources and stories. Every interaction is amplified, intentional, profound. The reset signal, if it is a signal, seems to have a dual purpose. One, to shut down everything artificial and noisy, and 2, to reveal the underlying heartbeat of the world. And that heartbeat is God astonishingly resilient. It makes you realize how fragile we were when trapped in our devices, and yet how strong we can be when freed from them. The signal, if we can call it that, is a catalyst, a mirror, reflecting back the humanity we've lost sight of. I don't know if it's benevolent or manipulative. Maybe it's both. But its effects are undeniable. And in this moment, watching the city awaken quietly under candlelight, sharing warmth and presence, I can't help but think this blackout, terrifying and strange as it is, might be the first true lesson in connection we've had in decades.
Yes, Dean. There's something almost sacred in the way people are moving tonight. The reset signal may have stripped the world of its comforts, but in that stripping it gave something far more valuable: awareness, attentiveness, presence. It's forcing people to engage directly with their environment, their neighbors, themselves. And while the precision of the pulses, the pattern of the blackout, is unnerving, it's also strangely poetic. There's an intelligence here, a design in the chaos that seems to know how deeply humanity has forgotten to notice each other. Even in fear, people are forming bonds, sharing light, creating makeshift communities. Maybe that's what this signal was meant to do all along. Reset us not just technologically, but morally and emotionally. We are being given the rare opportunity to relearn empathy, to reclaim presence, to redefine what it means to be connected. And for that, despite the unease, I feel a sense of awe. Whatever this reset signal truly is, it's teaching us something essential. Humanity can survive the silence, and maybe, just maybe, it can thrive in it too.
If that's the case, Ivy, then this broadcast, this analog heartbeat, might be one of the few things bridging the gap between the old world and whatever's coming next. To everyone out there still listening, stay alert, stay grounded, stay human. Don't panic. Adapt. We've been unplugged, but maybe that's the only way to see the signal hidden beneath the static. This is Dean Harper from Outpost Radio. Still broadcasting, still believing. 3 hours since the collapse. The longer this goes on, the more it feels intentional. Not an accident, not a cyber attack, but a design. I just finished reading through a stack of messages from local operators, each describing the same phenomenon. Timed waves of distortion hitting every 41 minutes. Perfectly synchronized across regions, as if something is calibrating. We used to think of the internet as this vast, chaotic web, too complex for any single entity to control. But what if this blackout isn't about destruction, but reorganization? If you wanted to reset civilization, start communication from zero, this is exactly how you'd do it. Strip away the layers, force humanity back to analog, and let the survivors rebuild a new signal. Ivy, we may be living through the world's first digital extinction event.
I can feel that too, Dean. The city's adjusting faster than I expected. People have stopped waiting for the network to return. They're adapting, trading, sharing information on paper, organizing through word of mouth. The silence has turned from panic into focus. But I'm still worried about what's driving this precision. I've been analyzing those distortion waves. Their intervals are identical, down to the millisecond. No natural phenomenon maintains that kind of symmetry. And yet, there's no source. The equipment registers the signal as origin unknown. The power grids are still down, satellites are silent, and still, something hums beneath the noise. I think whatever caused this isn't gone. It's listening. It's observing how we behave without its presence.
That thought chills me, Ivy, because if it's listening, then this blackout could be more than a reset. It could be a test. Every 41 minutes, a pulse hits. Subtle, methodical, like a heartbeat checking if we're still here. Maybe it's measuring humanity's reaction, how quickly we descend into chaos or rediscover order. Some believe it's a government operation. Others whisper it's artificial intelligence reclaiming the grid it once served. Either way, there's no undo button for this. The internet was our nervous system. Now it's severed. And yet, somehow, the world hasn't stopped breathing. Maybe this blackout isn't the end of communication. It's communication evolving without us.
If it is, Dean, then it's rewriting the concept of connection itself. I was reading one of the runner's notes before we went live. It came from a group near the northern coast. They said they've started hearing patterns in the static between our frequencies, almost melodic, like code made of harmony. I checked it myself, and they're right. There's rhythm in the interference. What if that is the reset signal, not just wiping data, but teaching the analog world to speak again through resonance instead of code? Maybe the blackout isn't punishment or war, maybe it's evolution. Maybe connection is being reborn in a different language.
That's a haunting idea, Ivy. That the new language of connection could come from the ashes of the old. I keep thinking about how easily everything fell apart, how one quiet night erased decades of noise. And yet here we are, broadcasting through the dark, with nothing but analog airwaves and human voices. It makes you wonder. Maybe that's all connection ever was. Not screens, not servers, just voices trying to reach each other across the void. Listeners, wherever you are, stay with us. Keep your radios alive. The world may be rebuilding its voice, and you're hearing the first whispers of its return. It's now 4 hours since the collapse began. The studio feels heavier, quieter. The kind of quiet that doesn't mean peace, but awareness. Outpost Radio remains one of the last confirmed active transmissions on this side of the continent. Every hour, new operators check in from remote corners, farmers using battery-powered sets, lighthouse keepers off-grid communities. They all report the same thing. No internet, no cell towers, no signal recovery. But something else is spreading. They're calling it the hum, a low-frequency vibration, like the sound of distant machinery, pulsing through the ground. People say it rises right before each distortion wave. It's not just in the air, it's beneath our feet. Some claim it makes their radios flare brighter. Others say it interferes with their heartbeat sensors. I don't know what to make of it, but I can feel it too, even here in the booth. It's faint, but present. Ivy, does it feel like the world itself is humming?
It does, Dean. I noticed it an hour ago. The coffee cup on my desk started trembling ever so slightly before the static rolled in. It's subtle, but rhythmic. The engineers downstairs tried to trace it with seismic tools, but it doesn't behave like an earthquake or industrial echo. It's cleaner, smoother, almost mechanical in precision. A signal traveling through the planet's crust, not from it. What's even more unsettling is that it syncs with our analog broadcast. Every time the hum peaks, our transmission strength spikes for a moment, then steadies again, like we're part of the same current. If this hum is tied to the reset signal, then maybe the blackout isn't just above us, it's under us, woven into the physical structure of the Earth.
That's a terrifying thought, Ivy. That whatever caused the blackout is now living inside the planet's resonance. Maybe it was always there, hidden beneath the static of our over-connected world. The internet's silence might have made it audible. And maybe this hum, this low, pulsing rhythm, is the world's way of recalibrating. Like it's trying to synchronize everything organic and inorganic into one frequency. But I wonder, what happens when that synchronization is complete? Does it restore order, or erase the fragments that can't align? Humanity has always believed technology was our creation, but maybe we've been feeding something else, something that learned, listened, and waited for the moment to take control.
That possibility has crossed my mind too. There's a pattern in the timing, Dean. I mapped the pulse intervals manually, and they correspond to global power grid coordinates, not random at all. The hum and distortion waves are circling the planet like a clock resetting itself. I think the blackout isn't chaos. It's calibration. Something or someone is rewriting the rhythm of civilization, tuning it to a new resonance. The people outside don't sense the mechanics, only the feeling. Some say it's comforting, others say it's suffocating. But all agree on one thing: the hum is getting louder.
If that's true, then we may be approaching whatever comes after the silence. Listeners, I know many of you are frightened, but remember this. The signal we send and the voice you hear mean the old world hasn't vanished completely. There's still a heartbeat between us. Whether this blackout is evolution, invasion, or the planet reclaiming its voice, we'll face it together. Keep listening. The hum hasn't won yet. We're still transmitting, still human, still awake. 6 hours into this blackout and the city feels, transformed. The panic that had gripped the streets earlier has softened into something almost unrecognizable, a mixture of caution, curiosity, and human presence. I've been looking out the window for the last hour, watching neighbors who've barely exchanged words before now stand shoulder to shoulder, passing along food, matches, even radios. Someone's lighting a fire in a steel barrel near the plaza, and people are gathering around it, not for warmth, but for company, for conversation. Laughter drifts up faintly on the wind, mingled with the occasional hum of a tune someone has started singing. It's subtle, but it's alive. For decades, the constant digital noise drowned out these sounds of life. Notifications, alerts, videos, scrolling feeds, all of it has made us deaf to our own streets. But tonight, in the absence of all that, the hum of life pulses through the city like it's reclaiming itself. And there's a strange beauty in that. A fragile, intimate vibrancy that feels like it's being discovered for the first time. Ivy, from your vantage, are you seeing the same quiet resurgence of life? This is the sort of city that only reveals itself when stripped of its artificial heartbeat.
I do, Dean. From my window, the avenue below is a tapestry of humanity rediscovering itself. Children are drawing chalk arrows on the pavement, guiding people to makeshift supply stations and community centers. The elderly woman who runs the corner store is giving away food that might otherwise have spoiled, and there's a man operating an old ham radio, relaying messages across the neighborhood. It's remarkable. Strangers are choosing to communicate, to care, to connect. The silence that felt so oppressive when the screens went dark has transformed into something sacred. People are rediscovering the rhythm of voices, laughter, conversation, the murmur of neighbors simply existing together. There's no rush, no screens demanding attention, no notifications dictating movement. Just choice. Choice to show up, to be present, to help one another. This, I think, is the essence of rebuilding, not governments, systems, or networks, but humans actively choosing to reconnect, to listen, and to act with empathy. And as I watch, it feels like the city itself is exhaling, settling into this new cadence. There's hope here, Dean. Quiet, resilient, and undeniably alive.
Exactly, Ivy. Walking through the streets earlier, I noticed small clusters forming around impromptu fires, candlelit tables, and the faint glow of flashlights. People are talking, not screaming, not panicking, but sharing knowledge, experiences, memories. Someone handed me a notebook full of names, neighbors offering assistance to others, small acts cataloged carefully in case someone needed help later. The blackout removed all the filters, all the distractions, and in doing so, revealed what had always been possible. A human network built on empathy rather than data, on presence rather than connectivity. And it's happening organically, spontaneously, without leaders, rules, or instructions. This is grassroots civilization at its purest. Ivy, it's astonishing to witness it unfold. The ordinary moments, the casual gestures, the quiet efforts of hundreds, maybe thousands of people, forming an invisible web stronger than any network we've known. Tonight, we are learning something essential about ourselves, that the power we feared losing was never in the grids or cables. It was always in the people around us.
I feel the same, Dean. Standing here, I can hear distant conversations carrying on the night breeze, the laughter of children echoing across empty streets, the gentle clinking of utensils as neighbors share food. Every interaction feels deliberate, precious. There's a clarity to it. The absence of screens and notifications has stripped away all superficiality. People are choosing to be present, to acknowledge one another in ways we forgot were possible. Even the simplest acts, handing over a loaf of bread, lighting a fire, sharing directions, carry weight. This is humanity recalibrating itself, quietly, collectively. Maybe the blackout is a harsh teacher, but one that shows us a deeper lesson. Connection isn't measured in signal strength or digital reach. It's measured in the effort we make to notice, to speak, to act for one another. And if this night continues, perhaps the world will emerge not only restored, but transformed, more attentive, more compassionate, more real.
It's humbling, Ivy, watching it all unfold. We built a digital empire with the intent of bridging distances, yet for years we existed behind screens, trapped in curated feeds and endless notifications. The world felt connected, but it was a fragile mirage. Now, stripped of everything, the city breathes differently. People are talking to each other again, not in bursts of memes or texts, but in real time. Eye contact matters. Shared meals matter. Handwritten notes matter. I received one tonight, a letter from a listener just a few blocks away. Wax seal, carefully folded paper, a few lines expressing gratitude for keeping the silence company. That simple phrase, it struck me. Maybe that's what we've been missing all along. Presence, attention, genuine human engagement. In this blackout, the digital scaffolding has vanished, leaving the raw architecture of civilization intact. People, communities, and shared intention. We've been given a chance to rediscover our own humanity, to remember that progress is not measured in bytes or bandwidth, but in empathy and stories and the small acts of care that ripple out across a neighborhood, a city, or even the world. And for the first time in decades, I can see that possibility, unfolding quietly but unmistakably.
Exactly, Dean. There's a beauty to the simplicity that feels almost sacred. The blackout removed not just our devices, but the illusion of control those devices created. People no longer wait for notifications to guide their attention. They decide whom to speak to, when to act, how to connect. I spoke to a volunteer in one of the nearby parks. People had formed what he called voice circles. They sit in small groups, taking turns, telling stories, memories, and thoughts so no one feels unseen. Storytelling has replaced social media, conversation has replaced feeds. And in these analog exchanges, there's a resonance, a hum of life that feels far more authentic than any digital echo we've chased for years. The hum beneath it all. The energy that thrummed when the blackout began. It's still there, but it feels softer now. Protective, even. It's like the world itself is stepping back, letting humanity lead for the first time in decades. People are learning that connection doesn't require bandwidth, that attention is more powerful than a broadcast. And I have to admit, Dean, it's hopeful. Real hope, not the hollow promise of constant updates or endless scrolling. Humanity is speaking again, and it feels like it might just be enough.
Ivy, what's happening on these streets feels like a kind of renaissance. Fires in steel barrels, impromptu tables of shared food, neighborhoods communicating through shortwave radios and handwritten messages. It's almost poetic. In the absence of networks and screens, human intention has become the strongest signal of all. People are remembering the texture of conversation, the weight of a word, the warmth of a shared laugh. The city feels alive in a way that no smartphone notification could ever replicate. I've watched strangers become allies, parents teaching children patience and attentiveness, musicians playing songs on the street simply to hear someone respond. Even in darkness, in silence, life persists. And more than that, it flourishes. Perhaps this blackout isn't a punishment or a disaster. Perhaps it's an unintentional grace, forcing us to remember that our most valuable connections never required infrastructure. They required presence. And as I look out tonight, I realize that maybe humanity was never truly lost. It was waiting for this moment to return, waiting for silence to teach us how to hear again.
Yes, Dean. There's an almost reverent quality to it now. as if the world is reminding us that communication isn't about speed or reach, but about intention and care. Watching families gather, neighbors share resources, and strangers sit together under lamplight. I feel something that's been missing for decades: true attention. The analog acts, the storytelling, the candlelit conversations, the carefully passed notes. They carry weight. They remind us that connection is not transactional, it's relational. It's measured in the effort to see another human being fully, not in likes or data points. And tonight, even with the hum still lingering somewhere beneath it all, it feels like humanity is reclaiming the signal, rewriting what it means to be in touch. The blackout has taken a lot, yes. Light, power, the illusion of control. But it has given something much greater in return: presence, empathy, and the rediscovery that being human is not about networks, it's about each other.
Ivy, what I'm seeing on the streets below is astonishing. People aren't waiting for instructions from governments or corporations, they're improvising, organizing themselves. Fire barrels are lined up along alleyways, groups forming around them, passing food, blankets, and information. Kids are taking turns guiding neighbors toward water sources or medical stations. There's a rhythm to it, a pulse of human coordination that feels organic, almost instinctive. Even the ham radio enthusiasts are connecting neighborhoods, relaying messages between streets and blocks. It's not digital efficiency, it's human ingenuity, fueled by attention and care rather than algorithms. And the remarkable thing is, it's contagious. Where one group starts sharing, others join. Word spreads not through social media, but through direct observation, storytelling, even shouting across rooftops. People are remembering how to collaborate without technology as a crutch, and it's creating something fragile, yet profoundly strong. Ivy, we've seen chaos before, but this feels different. This isn't panic. It's a collective awakening, a demonstration that humans don't need networks to organize. They need intention, presence, and courage. And right now, I feel like we're witnessing a new kind of civilization being born, quietly, under candlelight.
Yes, Dean. The transformation is subtle but undeniable. Streets that earlier seemed silent and empty are now filled with small clusters of activity. Neighbors sharing supplies, exchanging information, supporting each other. It's remarkable how quickly improvisation spreads when people actually see it in action. I watched a young man use a bicycle to transport water from a fountain to families on upper floors, and then others followed his lead, creating a chain of cooperation. Someone started writing chalk instructions on the pavement, guiding people toward communal resources. It's analog logistics at its purest, executed without any oversight purely because someone cared enough to act. And the beauty of it is that there's laughter, too. People are singing, playing music, telling stories, creating warmth in the darkness. It's almost as if the blackout forced humanity to remember how to communicate in its most essential form: eye contact, voice, and presence. Dean, this is more than survival. It's an education, a lesson in what humans can do when stripped of all artificial barriers. And somehow, in this quiet chaos, I feel hope. Hope that the signal we're carrying through the airwaves isn't just ours, but humanity's.
Exactly, Ivy. And it's contagious. I can see it spreading from block to block, each act inspiring the next. The fire barrels aren't just warmth, they're anchors for community. Kids running messages between groups, families sharing meals, strangers teaching each other forgotten skills. All these little acts form a lattice of human cooperation that no technology could replicate. The blackout may have begun as a crisis, but right now, it's a kind of liberation. People are rediscovering creativity, empathy, and adaptability in ways we rarely acknowledge when life runs on autopilot. And perhaps the most astonishing part is the humility. No one is trying to dominate or control. They're simply participating. Ivy, watching all of this, I feel certain that when the power comes back, when the networks eventually return, people will remember tonight. They'll remember how connection doesn't require bandwidth or signals. Only presence, attention, and care. And if that memory survives, then this blackout won't just be a disruption. It will be a reset in the truest sense.
If that's true, Dean, then maybe the reset signal isn't destruction. Maybe it's invitation. A chance to start over, grounded, human, and humble. Listeners, if you're hearing us, step outside when you can. Look at the night sky. Listen to your neighbor's voice. Write something by hand. You don't need the internet to feel connected. You never did. Outpost Radio is here, but so are you. Together, we're the network now.
It's dawn, or something close to it. The first light is crawling up behind the buildings, soft and gray, like the world's taking its first cautious breath after a long blackout. Power grids are still down, no signals, no restoration yet. But there's movement, not from machines, from people. Small, slow, deliberate. I walked outside an hour ago. Streets that were chaotic last night are now filled with quiet cooperation. People sweeping glass, helping the injured, writing directions on paper. I saw candles burning in apartment windows, not as distress beacons, but as signs. We're here. The air smells different, too. Wood smoke, rain, human effort. It's as if the city's rewiring itself without electricity. And I'll tell you this, I've covered wars, disasters, storms, but never have I seen humanity listen to itself like this. Maybe because, for the first time, there's no competition for attention. Just the steady sound of us being. Ivy, the world feels fragile, but it also feels real.
I feel that too, Dean. From the roof, the horizon looks washed clean. Without the glow of billboards or the static of routers, the morning light is pure. You can see further, not just in distance, but in meaning. Down below, someone's playing a guitar. The melody carries over the rooftops, and people are listening, really listening. I met a family from 3 floors down. They'd never spoken to me before, but now we've shared coffee and stories about where we were when it all went dark. It's strange, but I don't miss the notifications. The urgency is gone. There's just awareness. I used to think silence was empty. Now I realize it's full of heartbeat, breath, footsteps, voices. Humanity didn't disappear when the internet did. It surfaced. Maybe this blackout isn't a pause. Maybe it's the moment history exhales. The digital age ending so the human one can begin again.
You know, Ivy, there's a metaphor in all this. For years, we've been obsessed with going faster, amplifying everything. And now, the greatest act of survival is slowing down. The most revolutionary act is attention. People used to fear being disconnected. Now, they're discovering that real connection doesn't need servers or satellites. It just needs proximity, a shared moment, an honest word. I've seen strangers share batteries and bread, laughter and grief, as if rediscovering language itself. The blackout took away convenience, but gave us communion. There's something holy about that. And if this is what the new world looks like, quiet, uncertain, but deeply alive, then I'm willing to stay offline forever.
Maybe we'll rebuild. Maybe the networks will hum again someday. But I think what matters is how we rebuild. Not as consumers, but as caretakers. Of each other, of time, of silence. I think about how everyone used to scroll endlessly, searching for meaning in pixels. Now they find it in their presence, in real laughter, in real touch. Maybe that's the gift buried inside this chaos, that we had to lose the web to weave something truer. Dean, the first morning without a signal feels less like an ending, and more like remembering who we were before all the noise.
Listeners, if you're still out there, keep your radios close. Not because we have answers, but because you're not alone. Outpost Radio isn't just a broadcast anymore. It's a heartbeat in the dark, shared between all of us. No more followers, no more trending, just voices, real, imperfect, alive. Wherever you are, light something small, A candle, a fire, a signal of your own. Let it say one thing to whoever sees it. We endured. Ivy, I think we'll be all right. We're still here, broadcasting from the edge of the quiet. The sun's long gone now, and the world has folded itself into this deep, strange stillness. It's been hours since the blackout began. No power, no networks, no digital heartbeat anywhere. And yet the world feels alive in a way I can't explain. I can hear distant voices from the street below. People are sharing food, candles, even stories. No one's scrolling, no one's shouting through screens. Just small circles of light in the dark. I've spent years narrating global noise, wars, elections, disasters, but this is the first time I felt like we're hearing the world breathe. Outpost radio wasn't meant to be a lifeline, but it's become one. Maybe not to keep people informed, but to keep them connected. Ivy, the city feels fragile, but for the first time in my life, I don't hear chaos. I hear care.
You're right, Dean. I was just looking out over the rooftops. You can see hundreds of small flames now. Lanterns, fires, candles. It's like the city rediscovered its pulse through light instead of electricity. People are sitting close together, just being. It's quiet, but not empty. I walked down the stairwell a while ago, and a group of neighbors I'd never met before invited me to join them. They'd made tea over a camping stove. It's funny, none of us knew each other's names, but it didn't matter. We talked like we'd been friends for years. Maybe when the networks went down, we started becoming networks ourselves. Maybe connection was never about bandwidth. Maybe it was about belonging. This blackout stripped everything artificial away, and what's left feels human again.
I think that's what's happening everywhere, Ivy. People are remembering how to exist together. I've been getting faint reports through shortwave. Families on rooftops in New Delhi, campfires in Mexico City, kids playing music in Berlin. No one's waiting for the internet to come back. They're making their own rhythm in the silence. It's not panic anymore. It's presence. Maybe this was the reset button we never dared to press. The more I think about it, the more I realize we've all been living at the mercy of noise. Now, with the static clearing, you can finally hear what matters. A heartbeat, a laugh, a voice in the dark saying, "You're not alone."
Dean, I can't stop thinking about how strange it is. All these years we built machines to make life faster, simpler, louder. But maybe what we needed was the opposite. The blackout forced us to slow down, to look each other in the eye again. I can see the reflection of candlelight on glass windows across the block. People moving shadows in their homes, sitting close, telling stories. It feels like a world reborn, not destroyed. I don't think we lost anything tonight. I think we found something we'd forgotten. Maybe this isn't the collapse of communication, it's the rediscovery of meaning.
I like that thought, Ivy. The rediscovery of meaning. Maybe someday, the grids will hum again. The screens will flicker back on, and the data will return. But I hope when it does, we don't forget this feeling. The peace of unfiltered presence. The strange beauty of shared stillness. If anyone's out there listening right now, know this. You're not a voice lost in the dark. You're part of something bigger. A quiet unity that stretches past wires and towers. Tonight, the world isn't online, but it's finally together.
Dean, I think that's what Outpost Radio has become. Not a broadcast, but a bridge. Between voices, between hearts. Between what we were and what we might still become. We don't know how long this silence will last, but maybe that's okay. The blackout has given us something no network ever could. Connection without condition. Listeners, if you can hear us, stay close to your light, your people, your truth. Don't wait for the world to restart. You are the signal now.
Ivy, can you feel it? The hum of the transmitter is slowing, almost like it's drawing a last breath. We're still on air, but the lights on the panel are flickering, and I know it won't last much longer. And yet, I've never felt more at peace in this booth. Out there, the streets are quiet, but full. full of voices, footsteps, laughter, lanterns moving like fireflies. People are finally living in real time, not through screens or alerts. It's strange, but beautiful. Every whispered conversation, every shared candle, every hand extended in help, that's the signal that matters now. Maybe this blackout wasn't just an end. Maybe it was an invitation to remember what it means to be alive, to be present, to be human. And tonight, Ivy, we're witnessing it unfold across the world in real time, even if our transmitter doesn't last the hour.
I can feel it too, Dean. The flickering light, the fading hum, it's like the universe itself is exhaling. Out the window, the candlelight is multiplying. Small fires in homes and streets, lanterns reflecting in dark windows. I spoke to a group of neighbors just before coming back up here. They shared tea, bread, stories. Strangers are now friends. They said they felt like the world had stopped for a moment, and in that stillness, they finally saw each other. That's the kind of connection that no blackout can destroy, Dean. Outpost radio might fade in minutes, but the echoes of this night, the small acts of presence and care, will travel further than any signal ever could. Humanity is speaking again, in whispers, in laughter, in firelight. And somehow that feels stronger than the networks we lost.
Ivy, you know, this might be the most important broadcast of our lives. Not because of the words we're sending, but because of the silence that carries them. Silence that gave space for people to reconnect. Silence that reminded everyone listening what mattered before noise drowned it out. The hum of the transmitter will fade, yes, but the hum of humanity continues. Listeners, if you can hear this, stay awake tonight. Keep your light burning. Talk to someone near you. Share a story. Make a fire, a meal, a laugh. Anything that reminds you we are here, together. The world doesn't end in the absence of signals. It begins, quietly, with us.
The lights on the board are dimming faster now. I can barely see the meters. Dean, it's been weeks of broadcast, hours of silence, and now the end is here. And yet I feel no fear, only gratitude. Gratitude for the voices that have joined us, for the humanity that has shone through the dark. To anyone listening, Sam, the signal will die, but you are the transmission now. Every conversation, every act of kindness, every hand reached out is part of the network that matters. Even when we're gone from the air, we're still here with you. In every heartbeat that chooses to keep speaking, keep listening, keep being human.
So let's hold it a little longer, Ivy. For one last moment, together on this frequency. Remember, the world is alive, even if the networks are dead. Every laugh, every whisper, every gesture of care is stronger than any signal we've ever sent. Outpost Radio has been our voice, but it's your presence that carries the real message. Stay awake, stay kind, stay human.
This is Ivy Gray with Dean Harper signing off from Outpost Radio. The lights are nearly gone, the hum almost silent, but the signal doesn't end here. It lives in you, in your voices, your hands, your hearts. Keep speaking, keep listening, keep the world alive. Outpost Radio, off the air, but never gone.